We called a press conference today because we wanted to announce a major break in the investigation into the death of Holly Grimm. As a result of a very thorough search done on the property of Michael Horvath, members of the Pennsylvania State Police, Fogelsville Barracks, great group of investigators, by the way, were able to uncover a lot of evidence, including many skeletal remains, bones, that through subsequent DNA testing were matched to Holly Grimm, a resident of Lehigh County, who went missing in November of 2013. As a result of that and the other circumstances, which were very carefully and thoroughly laid out in the affidavit of probable cause supporting the arrest, the investigators decided to seek the approval of the district attorneys in Monroe and Lehigh counties for the filing of criminal homicide and kidnapping charges. The district attorneys in both counties approved those charges, and Mr. Horvath was taken into custody by the state police this morning and is currently incarcerated without bail in the Monroe County Correctional Facility. Preliminary hearing's been scheduled for the 24th of this month at District Judge Joanna Crowitz's office. Now, concurrently with the filing of the criminal homicide charges by Mr. Christine, Monroe County's district attorney, Mr. James Martin, who has a very important interest in this case, as the victim was a resident of his county, has also brought forth, I said, kidnapping charges. So without getting into a lot of the detail on that, I'd like to yield now to Mr. Martin.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Mancuso. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. First, as Mr. Mancuso indicated, we have filed in Lehigh County 2 counts of kidnapping by way of a criminal complaint. It's my understanding that arraignment has occurred on that charge via video conferencing. We have acquiesced because of the evidence in this case would clearly seem to indicate that Holly Grimm was abducted from her residence in Lehigh County, thus the kidnapping charges, but it would also likely indicate that it's more likely than not that she was murdered here. So Mr. Christine and I have agreed that the homicide case should go forward here in Monroe County. The kidnapping charge will be transferred up here and consolidated with the homicide case. Kidnapping is a felony of the first degree. It's our allegation that it arises as a result of the same criminal episode. So it could, if it's chosen, serve as an aggravating circumstance in the homicide case. I certainly first would like to thank Steve Luxa, who's the first assistant DA over in Lehigh County, standing over there. He's been involved with the state police investigation from the beginning, and I certainly can commend Captain Tobin and Lieutenant Sokolowski and the major case team from Troop M Bethlehem for an outstanding investigation, a tireless investigation that they have been actively involved in since the day in November of 2013 when Holly Grimm went missing. So Lieutenant Joseph Sokolowski headed that investigation, and it's my pleasure at this point to turn it over to him.
Thank you, sir. Morning. At this point, I would just like to offer my condolences to the Grimm family, especially Jeanette, her mother. I know this isn't the result that she was hoping for. However, I hope she finds some solace in the relief from the daily anguish that I'm sure she suffered of the unknown, and she could grieve properly. I'd also like to commend my major case, especially lead investigator Trooper Robert Devers, and who assisted him, Trooper Raymond Judge. Those two worked, for 3 years now, and realized the result that we're here today because of tireless efforts and determination, and the diligence and tenacity of those two. So that we owe a lot to them. And that's all I have to say. I have a great group of people that headed up. During the search, it was a multi-agency search. We were assisted by Monroe County District Attorneys, the PA Game Commission, members from Troop N Lehighton, from Troop M Vice Units, from Troop N Lehighton also, And if I'm missing anyone, the coroner's office, it was just a multi-agency search. It spanned 9 days, and I'd like to say thank everyone involved in that. Are we taking any questions?
Sure. I would like to point out, too, Mr. Robert Allen is present. He worked closely with us once the bones were recovered, and he was able to expedite a resolution as to the cause and manner of the death of Ms. Grimm based on information we received concerning the remains. The state police had employed Dr. Dirkmott from Mercyhurst University, very, very noted forensic anthropologist. His report isn't complete yet, but in terms of the preliminary information and the circumstances of the abduction and then the discovery of the remains, the location of the remains, efforts that had been underway to hide the remains, all that led to the circumstances of what Coroner Allen put in the death certificate information as homicidal violence. Would you like to say anything, Mr. Allen?
Just a brief comment. Thank you. I also would like to thank the Pennsylvania State Police. It was a multiple effort, as they said, but the days that I were there was at least 30, 40 troopers aiding in this search, and without the help of the lieutenant and the Pennsylvania State Police, this would never have come to fruition. Dr. Durmatt's team, he had a lot of students that were in his master's program. As the district attorney stated, is a specialist in this area. He's done this many times. As being the coroner for many years, we have never used him personally, but a lot of the other coroners in the 67 counties have used him for skeletal remains, and he's a very renowned person. And as the district attorney stated, after conferring with him and getting a positive ID from the Pennsylvania State Police Lab, which the lieutenant got done quite quickly, we were able to confirm it was her, and the cause and manner of death being homicide and homicidal violence. That's as far as we are at this point, but we could not have done this without all these people being involved. I also would like to give my sympathy to the family. It's a really 3-year period, at least brings that part of it to a conclusion, but I'm sure no one really wanted it to be this type of a conclusion. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Sorry.
Any questions? Go ahead.
Okay. So the homicidal violence, can you be more specific?
It's what we use in cases like this, skeletal work going in front. Sorry.
This is the type of thing that we all use. I conferred with Dr. Dirkmatt and the forensic pathologist that we use at Lehigh Valley, and this is a general statement that tells you how that she died. Was a homicide is the manner, and the violent part is what killed her. To get into the technical part of this, we don't have all those results back. There are other areas that we're looking at and concerned about, but we're not bringing this up at this time.
One more question. I understand that her body was not whole when it was found.
When we found, it wasn't me, it was the Pennsylvania State Police and Dr. Durmatt. I was not involved with any of that. I just sort of stood there and watched all this take place. We got multiple bones, okay, and I'm not giving the amount or what bones we were able to get. As a result of the bones, then we gave the Pennsylvania State Police several of them, which they took to their lab to get the DNA done. And the lieutenant was responsible for that, and they took care of that very quickly. And then Dr. Dirkmatt took the remainder of the bones back to his university, where they're currently working on them. But they're all from the same person. They're all from her. And as far as the trauma involved in all that, we're not going to discuss that at this time. Okay?
Okay.
Anything else? You're talking to me, sir?
No, it's a lieutenant.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What triggered the search today in Ross County?
It was just a culmination of a 3-year investigation. I mean, I shouldn't say, the major case team and Trooper Devers and Judge, we all talked to hundreds of people. And we kept coming back to Mr. Horvath. Different people ruled out. We were never able to do that with Mr. Horvath. And it's just the natural culmination of the evidence that we collected along the way.
Why did you keep coming back to him at his home? Why did you, what made you know to, dig there?
Well, it's set forth in the affidavit of probable cause, and I think the rest of it will unfold as the case proceeds.
person.
They had a work relationship, but did they have an outside relationship? I don't understand the motive for this. Why did he choose her? Do you know that yet?
That's something that we're still looking into. The investigation is by no means incomplete. They had worked together for 7 years.
Do you know how long he had potentially been stalking her?
I don't know that he had been stalking her. I could just say the only relationship we were able to determine at this point was a working relationship.
Are you looking into other missing persons or other deaths that maybe he could be involved in?
It's always a possibility. You know, if evidence presents itself, we will.
Is there any evidence to suggest Kathy Horvath knew anything about this?
I can't comment on at this time. It doesn't appear so, but the investigation is still continuing.
Any other questions?
Did he give you guys any statement? Did he say, has he said anything to you guys that?
I can't comment on any statements that he made or didn't make.
In the affidavit, it says a planner with handwritten notes suggested the writer may be stalking another. Can you elaborate on that at all?
That'll be elaborated at a later time. It is a piece of evidence that we seized, and it'll come out in the court proceedings.
Were any of the materials of sexual or violent nature connected with the murder?
That'll come out in the court proceedings. I can't comment on the motive right now.
Has there been other women that, you found that were related to this in those writings or any material that you guys found?
At this point, no, it doesn't appear that there's another missing person related to Mr. Horvath. But again, we have a lot of evidence to go through and to look over.
How much evidence do you have?
There's a lot.
A lot.
It's going to take a long time to go through.
Is it all related to kind of sexual deviant stuff?
I can't comment on that. I mean, there was certain tendencies that he had, and we're investigating it.
And how would you describe him as a person then, seeing all of this evidence? What would people...
I don't think that's it's not fair for me to describe him.
Lieutenant, any idea how much after that she wound up missing that she may have been killed by Mr. Horvath? Like, how long of a span of time was it?
That's something that we're hoping to find out with the evidence that we seized.
The notes that you found in the planner, do they match time and places that Holly Grimm would have been at?
We haven't really. We've been busy with the search and with bringing this to a resolution today. We haven't really been able to sit down and go through the mountain of paperwork, computer forensics, photographs. I mean, that's going to take weeks, if not months. So I don't feel comfortable commenting on that right now.
But you do believe that...
Where he killed her, do we know that it is in Monroe County? Do we believe it happened there?
We can only stipulate that because that's where her remains were found at this point. If the evidence suggests that she was killed somewhere else, then we'll entertain that at that time.
Neighbors say an excavator was brought in. Do you think that has anything to do with that search right there?
Possibly. It's a good possibility.
Where did you find the skeletal remains?
They were in a general area, maybe a 4x4 circumference or square foot area, to the rear of the yard down an embankment.
Were they buried?
Were they buried
Yes.
deep?
Within, I would say, a couple inches to a foot and a half.
What was the break in the case that led you to go to the backyard, digging for bones?
It was just a natural culmination of the evidence. I mean, there wasn't one like aha moment. It was just a natural progression. It was the tenacity of the investigators, and it was the cooperation of the district attorney's office.
I mean, it appears that through the affidavit, he was clearly a person of interest from early on. I would assume that the holdup was finding the remains and having a positive ID. Can you elaborate on that?
I mean, finding the remains was what we were hoping to do when we went there. It was just a natural culmination. In a homicide missing person investigation, you're in until you're out. And, a lot of the coworkers, a lot of the friends, a lot of the family, we investigated everyone, and one by one, they were out. They didn't have a motive, they didn't have an opportunity, they had an alibi, and then we kept coming back to Mr. Horvath, and we followed where the evidence led us, and it led us here today.
But why did it take from
Blood, a big reason why you
2014?
guys kept going back to him?
What's that
The
again?
sample of the blood that was found at the house that matched his DNA,
That's-
that's a big reason why you guys
Yes.
kept coming back to him?
But that was in 2014. Why did it take till 2016 to start digging on the property and obtain a search warrant?
Sometimes you have to, it's just the natural culmination of things. Sometimes you have to rule other people out before you could focus, and it was just how the way things worked itself out.
Are there any other charges possibly pending against Mr. Horvath?
At this time, I don't believe so, no.
You guys didn't find anything else in the dig area? I mean, there was nothing else to make you think that, hey, this isn't the first time.
If there's another victim, there wasn't any evidence that would suggest that there was more than one body or remains buried there, and Dr. McDermott will verify that it's all the same
And this
person.
entire hunting humans search that he was doing, I mean, was that something that's kind of just, started? Is this something, you guys think this is something he's done for, been interested in a long time?
We're not sure. Again, we didn't find any evidence that there's another victim or victims at this point.
But it's something that you're looking into?
Definitely.
This question has been asked before, but, there is an open homicide investigation in Lehigh County, another victim who worked for Alan Organs. Just looking at the timing on when this search warrant was executed and when this homicide, and when that homicide happened, can you comment on any potential links there? Have you absolutely ruled that out?
I can't comment on any links. I can tell you that the investigation of the homicide had nothing to do with our search of the Horvath residence on September 27th.
Several bones were recovered. Do you believe there may be other bones out there? Do you believe they were all buried in that same area?
I'm satisfied with the due diligence that we did as far as the digging. I mean, we went through that whole embankment. We were out there 9 days. We took our time, and I'm satisfied that we did due diligence and there's no bones in that area or no other remains.
My understanding is that there was some indication that the body had been burned or may have been burned. Is that something that you've been able to verify, or is that something that you had any indication of?
It doesn't appear that that's the case, no.
In the affidavit, it also says that he would dump his hunting remains back there. Was he trying to mix this in with that?
It doesn't appear so. I can take one more.
Do you find it strange that in 2011, Kathy Horvath had filed for divorce, but then it was withdrawn in 2013? Does that have any type of significance here in terms of whether or not she'll become a suspect?
I don't believe so. I mean, it was 2 years prior to Holly's disappearance.
But then it was withdrawn in 2013?
Correct. Yeah, I can't comment on that. I mean, we'd definitely like to talk further with Mrs. Horvath if she's willing, but it doesn't appear so. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Mr. Marks?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I apologize, I didn't catch your title.
District Attorney of Lehigh County.
Thank you.
He doesn't get out.